Well, I've made a few changes to this machine since my last video, and I know some of you have actually been emailing me asking for more computer videos. I never thought that would ever happen. So, to satisfy some of my viewers, here is another computer video. As you all know, this is the original IBM PC. This machine was built 27 years ago in Armonk, New York. And when it was built, it likely ran MS-DOS 1.0, possibly 2.11, and I do know for a fact that it was originally used in Harvard University, mainly for word processing and possibly some spreadsheets with Lotus 1-2-3 at some point. Well, I've made a few changes, as I mentioned earlier. When I got this machine, it was pretty much bone stock. It had the original monochrome video display adapter, and it had a replaced Emerson monochrome monitor. And I realized very quickly that almost all of my older software requires at least a CGA or better graphics card, which means color. I think it's computer graphics array or color graphics array, one of the two. And, well, I couldn't run it with the original display adapter. And I kept that display adapter right here. And you can see this in another video of when I cleaned the machine. This is the original video card. This is a full-length 8-bit ISA card, and there it says it right here in plain English, black and white / parallel, because it also serves as a parallel controller. And you can tell this is an original IBM card because it has a slightly wider backplane cover, and it's painted black. Actually, it appears to be anodized black, so it's not really paint at all. But this is it. In fact, this has had some rework done to it during the production process, as you can see here. So they made some mistakes. And this card was manufactured in mid-1982. Still works, but that's not the point. One of the other software titles that I intended to run on this machine was Windows 2.03. which was released in 1985 and isn't much different from Windows 1.0, which was not a commercial success. Windows 1.0 was bloody awful, but so is Windows 2.03, so the two are kind of mutually sucky. So let's go ahead and fire it up while I talk about some other things I'm doing. This monitor I had to use because the monochrome monitor wouldn't work with the CGA card. Not exactly sure why, because the monitor was manufactured in 1990, and I thought it would have been backwards compatible with or forwards compatible with the CGA, because I mean they're about the same generation, but I guess not. This monitor has a little bit of history, and especially to me. My father bought this monitor in 1989 when he bought our first family computer. It was a Tandy 1000 HX. It was the all-in-one keyboard built-in, but with a separate monitor. Quite possibly the worst computer ever built. Even today, I hate that computer. It just doesn't... Tandy was very screwy. With compatibility with IBM software, and it had DOS 2.11 and ROM. I mean, it was really bogus. But anyway, this is the menu program that I installed called MenuWorks 2.10, and I got this. I found this on an old 386 I worked on about 10 years ago for a neighbor, and I copied it. It's only it's about 2 files for this whole menu program, and it's more powerful than Windows 2.03, ironically. Basically, it gives me options for what I'd like to use it. Like, I could start it in Windows or launch all the many games I've installed, like Funnels and Buckets and Baseball and Caddy Golf. Cool things. But the reason for this video is to run Windows 2.03 on a 27-year-old IBM computer. Here we go. Ding! Copyright 1987. Oh, really? I'll be damned. I guess it was much later than I thought. But this is it. Apparently, when you run this on a CGA display adapter, it doesn't come up in color. And there's no option for color. So it's completely black and white. And it still has great features like Paint. I don't have a mouse, by the way, so that's why I'm using the keys, arrow keys. Gotta get an adapter for my serial mouse. So you use the tab key to change your tool options. It's amazing that it hasn't really changed much. Well, the basic functionality of Paint hasn't changed in over 25 years. Because this is the same program that was in Windows 1.0. I did have Windows 1.0 on one of my machines many years ago, and just as an experiment. But same keystrokes. Alt space brings up the window toolbar, and let's see, it still has reversey. I never quite learned how to play this. It's very similar to Othello. I think it might even be the same game. But I never really learned how to play it because I never paid much attention to it. Let's see what else. I've got, of course, Terminal. Really has all of the same tools and accessories. Does clockwork? Oh, you know what? I've got to change my view option. So I'm going to Alt Special, or view, I'm sorry, and change it to show only programs, like that. There we go. Now it doesn't show me all everything in the Windows directory. It masks it all out for me. Let's see what's in the clock. Is it the same clock that was in Windows 3.0? Yes, it is. It's the same damn clock they used in Windows 3.1. Pretty cool. About clock. Copyright 1987, so I thought Windows 2.03 was earlier than that. But then again, there were options for installing on an IBM PS2, so that would answer that anyway. Let's check out the control panel. This is pretty sad. There's no options. I mean, you've got your time, date, double-click mouse controls, Alt-I for installation, options. This is similar to what they had in Windows 2 or 3.1. In the, I think there was an installation menu for adding fonts, deleting fonts and printers. Setup options, you can change the COM port options. Screen colors, because I'm in black and white, it only lets me change the shading. What's this cut paint? Or is it CVT paint? What's that? Paint conversion utility. File to convert from and to. Interesting. Can I cancel that out? No. Escape? Oh, escape does it. MS-DOS. Notepad. PIF editor. Print spooler. Terminal. That's pretty much it. Calculator, which defaults as a standard. I think you can change this to a scientific. No, you can't. Pretty cool though. This is Windows 2.03.